it's Blur's Bakes. Welcome to my first YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be making a KitKat chocolate chip cookie. I came up with this recipe by accident. I was trying to make a big stuffed cookie, and after I baked it, it turned into this big ooey gooey cookie, but nonetheless, it was so delicious. I was so happy with the crispy texture, the ooey gooey center, and the fudginess of the cookies. So I wrote it into a recipe, and I'm going to share with you guys how to make it today. For this cookie, there's two steps you'll have to prepare in advance. One is the brown butter, and the second is the KitKat filling. Both need some time to sit. The brown butter needs to come to room temperature, and the KitKat balls need to freeze in the freezer. Let's go. So we'll start by browning the butter. I'm using a full block of unsalted butter, but I'm gonna set aside 30 grams of the butter for the filling. Cut it up into chunks so that it melts evenly, and then we'll place it in a saucepan over medium heat. Keep stirring it constantly. It will melt and it will begin to foam up, and eventually it will start to turn brown. As soon as it turns a golden color and smells nutty, take it off the heat and pour it into a bowl to cool. The bottom of your butter should look like cookie crumbs, not coffee grounds. If it's super dark and it smells burnt, then you've gone too far. While the butter cools, we're gonna get started on the KitKat filling. In a bowl, we're gonna mix 100 grams of sweetened condensed milk, 30 grams of softened butter, 45 grams of dark chocolate, and 75 grams of chopped KitKat bars. I realized here my bowl was too small, so I moved it to a larger one and I blended it with a hand blender. I just kept blending until I got this chunky consistency, and then from there I just scooped it into 7 equal balls using a tablespoon, and I'm gonna freeze it for at least an hour until it's firm, but you can leave it overnight if you have some extra time. After the KitKat filling has some time to freeze, we're gonna go ahead and make the cookie dough. So in a large bowl, we're gonna cream the cooled brown butter with 165 grams of light brown sugar and 55 grams of granulated sugar. After about 2 minutes of mixing, we'll go ahead and add 1 large egg and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and then we'll continue mixing it until it's light and fluffy. Separate bowl, we're gonna mix together 275 grams of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of fine sea salt. Then we're gonna add the dry mix to the wet ingredients, and we're just going to stir it until it's incorporated. Don't overmix it. Now for the fun part, we're gonna fold in 75 grams of chopped dark chocolate, 75 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and 150 grams of chopped KitKat bars. This dough is fully loaded, and honestly, it's hard not to eat it by the spoonful. Okay, to assemble the cookies, we're gonna take the frozen KitKat filling balls out of the freezer. For each cookie, I'm using 1 scoop of dough for the bottom. I placed a frozen filling ball right in the center, and then I topped it with another scoop of dough. I rolled it all together into one big cookie, and I placed each on the tray. From the dough, I was able to make 7 extra large cookies, and after assembling each, I wrapped them up and I popped the tray into the freezer. I would recommend to leave it overnight if you can, but in this video, I only had them frozen for 6 hours and they turned out perfect. So I would say at the very minimum, at least maybe 3 hours in the freezer. Okay, so my cookie dough has been in the freezer for about 6 hours. I let it rest on the counter for about 10 to 15 minutes while my oven was warming up. Cookies will spread out pretty big, so I'm only gonna cook 3 cookies at a time. I'm using a light baking sheet, wax paper. My oven is set to 350, and I'm gonna cook them for 22 minutes. Okay, the cookies are done. Okay, so while the cookies are hot, I'm just gonna top it off with a few more chocolate chips. I'm also going to stick a KitKat in each one, just so it has that chunky look. So we'll let the cookies cool down on the pan for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll transfer it over to a wire rack to store them. Keep them in an airtight container, and they'll be really fudgy the next day. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for my first YouTube video. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Bye.